Hey up guys! So today's movie that I'm going to be reviewing is one that I've been so excited to talk about. It's Shaka King's Judas and the Black Messiah. Based on true events, Judas is set in the late 1960s in Chicago, Illinois, and the film is, well, it's actually a bunch of different things, this film. It's a political drama, it's an undercover crime conspiracy story, it's a history lesson, and it's also a two-person character study. The titular Black Messiah is Fred Hampton, who was an activist and leader of the Chicago chapter of the Black Panthers, played in this film by Kaluuya. The Judas of the title is William O'Neill, played in this film by Lakeith Stanfield, who was an undercover FBI informant who infiltrated the Black Panthers and even managed to get into the inner circle of Fred Hampton. The religious connotations of the title give the film an almost biblical feel, and the themes of Judas are practically Shakespearean. Love, hope, power, legacy, oppression, betrayal, and tragedy. There is a lot going on here, and it doesn't all coalesce together perfectly, but this is still a powerful and timely piece of cinema, which reminds us that while we have made some progress towards equality, we still have a long, long way to go. It's a film which really speaks to today, what with the resurgence of the Black Lives Matter movement, the mistreatment of the Black community by the police, and the political division in America. All of that is in this film. The Black Panthers were an organization which were often misunderstood, and that's partly because the US government did such a good job of demonizing them. In this film, you've got FBI head J. Edgar Hoover, played by an almost unrecognizable Martin Sheen, who says that the Black Panther organization are the biggest threat to national security, which is madness when you think about it, because what they were fighting for was civil rights. And Will O'Neill's FBI handler, Roy Mitchell, who's played in this film by Jesse Plemons, believes that the KKK and the Black Panthers are one and the same. He says that they sow hatred and inspire terrorism, and it's dialogue like that which highlights the systemic prejudice of the establishment, which is still an issue which is ongoing to this day. I cannot stress enough how much we need this film right now. Okay, so let's talk about the positives and negatives. I'll start off with the positives. First things first, we need to talk about the performances, and not just the two leads, but the entire ensemble, because this film is stacked with so many great performances. The name on everybody's lips right now is Kaluuya, and rightfully so, because he delivers a towering performance as Fred Hampton. He had a gift of being able to articulate himself with such passion that he could ignite really large crowds. The "I am a revolutionary" speech that you've seen in the trailer, that's just one example of his oratory prowess. Honestly, there were moments while I was watching this where I nearly chanted along with the crowd. You could definitely label it as a big performance. It's quite theatrical, especially when he's on a podium getting a crowd all riled up, but Kaluuya adds depth to Fred in the smaller, more intimate moments when he's with his poet girlfriend Deborah, played by Dominique Fishback, and she is also excellent in this. But when you see him just with her, you can see how shy and nervous he is around her. It's just a fully rounded character. I can see this taking him all the way to a Best Supporting Actor Oscar victory. And then there's Lakeith Stanfield, who honestly does deserve as much credit as Kaluuya is receiving right now, because arguably, he has the much more challenging role. Him being the Judas of the title, it's easy to think of him as the villain of this film, but Lakeith Stanfield is so good at humanizing him that you do come to empathize with the guy. All he's trying to do is survive. Yes, his actions are abhorrent, but he is just some pawn in the FBI's chess game. And you can see the internal struggle of him having to betray his own race. I do, however, wish that the script had allowed more moments for the audience to see Will become enraptured in the Black Panther movement. His allegiance is meant to be in flux throughout the film, but I would have liked a couple more occasions where you could see that he legitimately felt like a Black Panther, like he believed in the cause. Stanfield manages to nuance this in certain places, but I would have liked to have seen him pulled in both directions. But still, Stanfield delivers a multi-layered performance here. We also have to give props to some of the smaller players in this film, like Algie Smith, Ashton Sanders, Dominique Thorne, and Lil Rel Harvey. Some of them only have one or two scenes, but they are all seriously impressive. And I can't forget Jesse Plemons. In lesser capabilities, the character of Roy Mitchell could have been a two-dimensional sleaze, but Jesse Plemons manages to make him somehow clean-cut and yet tainted simultaneously. I also have to praise the technical elements. Shaka King's direction is fantastic. It's so arresting. The sets and the costumes, everything looks lived in. It texturizes the film in realism. And the score by Craig Harris and Mark Isham is enthralling and urgent. Overall, the entire craftsmanship of this film is sublime. But now let's talk about the negatives. I did think there was a slight pacing issue in the middle part of the film because the first and third act are both so strong, but the middle section doesn't feel as focused. And while the two character strands of Fred and Will are both interesting to follow, dramaturgically speaking, they don't entwine as much as I thought they would. The relationship dynamic between Fred and Will is a bit lacking. There was a slight disconnect. I think if we'd had just a little bit more one-on-one between them, then the devastating events of the third act would have landed with even more impact. This film is really good, but I think it falls just shy of greatness. So let's ask those three questions. Firstly, would I watch this again? Certainly. Not only is this an important film, but it's also a well-made film with tour de force performances from Kaluuya and Lakeith Stanfield. So yes, I would watch this again. Question 2, do I recommend it for you guys? Yes, I think everybody should watch this. In fact, I think this is a film that they should show in all high schools to teach kids about the Black Panthers and the civil rights movement. So yes, I think everyone should watch this film. And final question, what score do I give it out of 10? Like I said previously, I think it falls just shy of greatness, but this is still a rousing wake-up call for social and political change. Not only does it show us our past, but it really reflects our present. So I'm going to give Judas and the Black Messiah a score of 8 out of 10. But as always, guys, it's just one bloke's opinion. I would love to hear from you guys if you've seen Judas and the Black Messiah. What did you think of it? Do you think Kaluuya is going to win that Oscar? Whatever you have to say about this film, please do let your voice be heard in that comment section down below. If you guys have enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you want more movie, TV, and Oscars-related content, click subscribe, and if you guys want to follow me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, or Letterboxd, all those links are in the video description down below. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. For more things related to movies, TV, and popcorn culture, I'm Luke Airfield, and I'll see you next time.